if it were possible for you to buy a robot for, say, 15,000 US that is capable of watching your child, changing his diapers, feeding him, and it like that it's 100% reliable, would you do it right now?
The best part is that anyone listening to this immediately is like, where did this conversation come from? So for context, we are speaking about my son who is now 11 weeks old, little Harrison. Sure. That's a good question, Ethan. And yes, yes, absolutely. I would spend that money because we've been going through this process of looking for somebody to help fill a nanny position, and it's like trust is hard to earn and it's so easily broken, and we've kind of experienced that already, and we haven't even found. Well, we thought we had found somebody, and now we're starting the search again. So
Yeah, because you said
if
the
there
person
was the
didn't show
option,
up.
so long story short, because now I really am going to sound like I'm going to give you the full story because it does make me sound like a bad human. Well, no, this podcast is meant to be raw and unfiltered and make us realize where we fall short sometimes. So the lady that we appointed and offered the position to, she unfortunately had a death in her family. Her mother passed away, and she is from Zimbabwe, and she needed to go back to Zim for that. And I'll be brutally honest, I had to catch myself in the moment because one of the first things that came to mind for me was like, oh, gee, but that's a real inconvenience for us. And then I was like, Justin, this lady has just lost her mother. So I very quickly caught myself. So we pushed her, we asked her how much time she needed. We pushed the start date out. We we contributed towards her travel costs to getting back to Zimbabwe, and then a couple of days before she was meant to be starting again, we hadn't heard from her. So we dropped her a message, and she said she was on her way back and she was going to be back in Cape Town that following morning, which was the day that she was meant to start. And she was going to be here mid-morning. So we said, great, thanks for letting us know, but don't worry about coming in on that Monday. If you're only getting back on that day, you can start on the Tuesday. We didn't hear from her. So on the Monday afternoon, Monday evening, we sent a message just saying we haven't heard anything and we're a little bit concerned about the lack of communication. Why don't you just let us know what's happening? We got the dreaded blue tick. Tuesday came, never came to work, and we've just never ever heard back from her. So
Wow, she just ghosted you. Oh
yeah,
my
so
God.
it's unfortunate. Look, dealing with a huge amount in her life, just lost her mother.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a
But you
pity
know
that it
what?
happened because
Still though. I mean, hopefully she's okay.
I hope so
And
too.
yeah, but even when hardships happen in your life, to me, that's no excuse for just completely ghosting someone. I'm sorry. I just think that's rude, and I know that that's kind of the culture. Maybe I'm just old fashioned, but I think that is to just ghost someone. I think is completely rude, and I don't know how that became. It seems like it's become adopted as a norm, and it's accepted in today's society that people just do that. But the least you could do is be like, just reply and be like, hey, it's just not going to work out right now. Or
Yeah,
I got too
agreed.
much going on in my life. Say something.
Say something. And yeah, it's an interesting one in South Africa because we've just got such a high unemployment rate and so many people looking for work as well.
Hmm.
So, I mean, our interaction with her was lovely. That's why we hired her, and she was very excited about it. But it actually goes a little bit deeper than this, Ethan, because obviously with the work that I do, working with a lot of different businesses and coaching clients, there are so many examples of because what I was appointing for context, very entry level position. I mean, even from an earnings point of view, very entry level. But even people that are appointing positions in larger organizations, in larger businesses, more senior positions, they're having experiences of not only people, kind of what happened to us, but people who are signing employment contracts and then just not showing up or taking another job. And now you're stuck in this position of what are you going to try as the employee? What are you going to try and enforce? Because you're not going to. Are you going to sue them for
Yeah.
damages like financially? And you certainly don't want that person to come and work for you now because
Right.
they've just shown you who they are. So it's just you take it on the chin and then I mean, that's a sunk cost, all those expenses that you've gone through to hire the person, the time, and now you've got to start the process again. And that's happened quite a few times. And
Huh.
something I don't want to say it's become the norm, but I've heard it from more than one client of mine.
I wonder why that is. Are they getting money when they sign these employment contracts? Like a signing bonus?
No, no. So no signing bonus, but a lot of it, my understanding is people just carry on looking. So
Hmm.
they are willing to take the slightly better offer. And it seems that there's also a habit of trying to play potential employees up against one another,
Hmm.
or even going to get an offer to take to the existing employer to say, hey, like this is on the table for me. I need you to either match it or improve on it. Otherwise, I'm out of here. But they'll go so far as to actually take these other jobs. So yeah, it's a crazy one.
Yeah.
It is a crazy one that happens. Just be a good person. Don't be a dick. Just be a good person.
Yeah. Don't be a dick. Yeah. And
Robots. We need robots.
we need robots. Robots aren't dicks. Unless you
Yeah,
tell your robot to be a dick, it's not going to
to
be
be
a
a
dick.
dick. Yeah.
So which goes back to the
Yeah.
original question, because I remember when they first started talking about these humanoid robots that are going to help us out in our homes, and people said, well, they can babysit your kids, and people are like, no, I'll never let a robot babysit my kids. But now, here we are already. You said hypothetically, if you had the opportunity and the technology were there today and you could trust it, I don't know, it might be there. Maybe, I don't know if robots can change diapers yet. Probably not too far off in the future, you know? So if you look at that cost, so let's say it costs 2 years of salary that you would pay someone to watch your
Yeah.
kid, but now you own this robot, and not only can it watch your kid, but also do chores and stuff around the house. To me, that's a no brainer. Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Hmm.
Or
There's a, yeah, I'm with you. There is still going to be a period where, because the technology, and you're right, the technology probably does exist, but because we have not been exposed to it, the trust is still not there. So, as much as I would need to learn to trust a human that I would bring into this position, into my home, to spend time with my child, and when we head on out to be trusting enough to leave the child alone with this person, I would be watching the robot like a hawk for the first
of
few weeks
course.
or months, because I'd be worried that it's going to not realize that it's ripped off a leg when trying to change a nappy or something. Yeah. And you come home to just a bloody mess. So that would be my worry. You know, these damn robots, they're pretty strong.
Oh my god, that would be an interesting like scene in a movie. Like, oh my god, that's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
so there's fears around that. Okay, is the robot going to accidentally murder my child, rip it apart? Is it going to
there we go.
maliciously somehow even if it just dropped the baby? Oh, so I
Yeah.
guess babysitting a small child. But let's say your baby could walk, and let's say it's a toddler out of the diaper phase. Maybe 4 years old, more self sufficient to where the robot doesn't
Hmm.
need to physically pick up your child. Then maybe it's more plausible.
Yeah. Well, I suppose the one thing that I don't know, but I mean, there's pretty. I don't know. I don't know how well you know the sex doll industry, but I have no idea how 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 realistic it feels when you're giving a doll like that a hug. But I mean, your humanoid robot looking after your kid would need to be able to give the kids like physical affection. It would need to feel like it's hugging a human being. If it feels like it's hugging a
Mm.
piece of tin, you're also doing your baby a disservice. So there's a few things that we've got to get past here, I think.
Yeah,
But
yeah. It's interesting. My daughter's 16. She just had her first babysitting gig in the child. I think is about 2 years old, maybe a little, maybe 1.5, 2 years old. And this is a complete stranger. So they hired her to watch their kid, and it went well. But I don't think she like hugged this child or anything. I mean, there was some touch because she had to change the baby's diaper. But I just wonder, because of the reliability factor, how soon will we turn to robots for that type of thing? Once
Yeah,
it makes sense, once we get past the danger zone, and its technology is there, like how soon will we be there? And it's not because like people hate AI and robots because it's going to replace jobs, but a lot of times, no, your job's getting replaced just because you're not reliable. It's because you're a
yeah,
dick and you're ghosting people and you're not a reliable person. So that's why you're getting replaced. Don't blame the technology, you know?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a very valid point. Very valid point. Yeah, it's going to be so interesting to know how far we are from that. And again, I think yeah, everywhere is going to adopt it at a different pace. A place like South Africa or Africa, it is going to be interesting because for a while, we will probably still have some labor here that is going to be cheaper than going the option of the humanoid. Yeah,
Wow, yeah. But
yeah,
technology always gets cheaper and
it
better and
will,
faster.
it will, it will.
I remember when flat screen TVs, when they first came out, they were like $20,000 US, $30,000 US for a TV. And
Yeah,
now, people give them away. They don't even want them anymore.
mm, yeah,
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I saw this news clip in China. You can go to a shopping mall right now and buy a humanoid robot just in the mall. And they sell humanoid, I mean not humanoid, but robot dogs too. I don't know what the dog actually does. I'll have to research that. But
it's
like,
a, it's a dog. It's a dog that doesn't shit. Is basically what
right.
you get.
Yeah. And maybe it picks things up off the floor. It kind of looked like it maybe picks things up off the floor.
Yeah,
But but that
we
was the
are.
price point. I think they said that the robot you could buy it for about 15,000. I'm assuming that they were converting it to US, but depending on what it can do, if you're comparing that to a salary, it's the more and more, as time progresses, it's starting to make sense very quickly. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see where this goes.
I suppose my question here is going to be at what stage do we kind of flip this and say not where are these humanoid robots going to be replacing jobs, but where are they going to be assisting those that don't have jobs? And the reason I say that is in the
Mm.
US, what is your unemployment rate currently?
I did probably like 4%. I'll ask Gemini real
Yeah.
quick.
I mean, if you ask, I'm curious what will come up as a South African stat there as well, because
Okay.
it'll be high, but it will be wrong.
Let's see. Current U.S. unemployment rate and South Africa rate. All right, let's see. You said it'll be high, but it'll be wrong. Why you said it'll be wrong?
It'll be lowballing.
Okay, so they say United States 4.3 and South Africa 32.7.
Yeah. And it's probably closer to, I mean, I would say north of 40%.
So
It's
why do you
just
say that?
we've it's very difficult to measure. I mean we've got a country of I mean we know we're near the size of the US, but I must check my stats now, but we must be between 50 and 60 million people now, population. A huge percentage of that. I mean, we've only got a tiny percentage that pays taxes towards, I mean, in the country, people that earn enough to pay tax. And then we've got this huge portion of our population that lives outside of cities and then be even in the cities on the outskirts of cities. And you would have seen it in Cape Town near the airport, but in what we call informal settlements, these locations. And it's very difficult to get accurate statistics because
Mm,
of just the type of demographics that we have in our country and the distribution of people. It's also a massive driver of our crime is just the fact that we've got such a high. I mean, you spoke about 4%, 32%, 33% is high. When it's north of that, it is crazy. We are creeping up towards half a population that just does not have work, which means you don't have money to buy your baby formula, to
uh,
whatever it may be. So sorry, we're getting a little bit off topic, but if we now start saying, okay, well, we're going to bring robots in and maybe replace some of these jobs. So a lot of these individuals, the entry level jobs are cleaning positions in people's homes. Nanny positions is another one. Mm. Those are all the entry level positions. So most
mm,
families in South Africa that are earning a kind of a median salary, you would have a cleaner that comes to your house. Some people have a full-time cleaner, some people have a couple of times a day. Like I know in other countries around the world to have people come to your house to clean your house, it's an expensive exercise. That's not a cheap thing to do. where here it becomes normal because we've got access to so many people that need work. So I'm just
Mm,
now wondering if we start replacing that and that unemployment rate grows, is there a
oh,
point where the scale has to tip and we've got to say, well, how do these humanoid robots then start serving, or does the government have a responsibility to have some of these robots to serve these people that now literally have nothing? We've removed an entry point layer of employment opportunities. That
right,
what is next up? The education, unfortunately, our education system or the educational system just doesn't allow that this mass of people to have the education necessary to take the next step up from these roles, and we
hmm,
just don't have the number of positions available. And it's just I don't know. It's a like a bit of a perfect storm of I don't know what happens. It's
right.
a
Well, we're going to
different
see really soon because it's kind of inevitable. But and this is where people are talking about universal basic income,
exactly
things like
correct.
that. But then is South Africa's government in a position for that? You know,
Not a chance.
and then so what happens when that reported employment rate goes from 32% to 50% or higher? Because now those cleaning jobs, those things like you're talking about, are replaced by robots. And I could see there being like robot hate going to the point where people like will destroy and
Oh
vandalize
yeah.
robots. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had serious cases. I mean, I'm making South Africa sound like a wild west here, but xenophobic attacks in South Africa have been over the years a lot of serious cases of that happening. And what I mean by that is South Africans, local South Africans, being unhappy about people from other countries coming into SA and starting small businesses and small shops
Mm.
selling produce, and it's how dare you come into our space in
Oh,
our little corner of the city or the world or whatever it is, and start doing that. And yeah, so it and that was all about the well the the misunderstanding that these people were stealing jobs and stealing opportunities that are rightly South Africans, although a lot of the times these were just really good traders, good entrepreneurs making a start in a different country, but it didn't go necessarily always go down well in those areas. So robots, good luck. There'll be some
yeah.
sort of a fight
But
on
it's
hand,
a
that's
very
for sure.
it's a very primal human response. If you feel threatened,
Sure.
like a piece of your pie is being taken from you, then
Yeah.
the primal response is to attack.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Yeah, I don't know. We started catching up, and we've ended up
Yeah.
on quite a tangent here. So to land this plane. It'll be interesting to see what
See.
the title ends up being. I guess if I had to pull out one king move, it'd be "Don't be a dick," or a robot will replace you.
Let's just go with I've got nothing. Let's go with that as well. Absolutely. That's a good one.
That's a wrap for today's episode of King Moves. Quick favor before we go. If this episode made you think differently or helped you see your next move more clearly, take 30 seconds and leave us a review. It helps the show reach leaders who need these conversations. Remember, in chess, like in business, one right move can change everything.
Take today's action step, make your move, and build momentum. And if you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who's ready for the next breakthrough. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss our weekly conversations.
Until next time.